Good morning, YouTube. This is Josh from the Pantek brothers, and we are back with a Planet Coaster Let's Play. Boy, do I have some development to show you guys. So I went ahead and continued to do some building over the past couple days. One, I purposely meant to just leave off on video. I thought it was going to be kind of boring just putting down buildings and such like I had in some of my earlier videos. However, the other ones where I was building coasters and doing some more terraforming I thought would have been interesting for you guys to see, and I completely forgot to record it. So unfortunately I'll just have to show you guys the end result, which is this. So, as you can see, there's just a few more rides than the last time you guys saw this park. So let's get started with showing you guys what's been developed. We will start over here on the left side of the park, which, as you remember, was just basically the train station going out and around in a path in this big open space. So what it did is we put together this little town here, not too dissimilar to the one that's in the main entryway, with some shops and food, and we have these couple rides here. This one was here prior, but there wasn't really anything around it at the time. Then we have this like loop circle ride come out and around over here. We have kind of like a low-hanging chair spin ride. And then obviously the centerpiece of this is kind of like this little lagoon with this huge pole ride. We have one of these, I want to say here in Orlando, that does this. I would never go on it. I am way too afraid of these chains or these cables snapping, and you just go flying off to your death. Anyway, and then we added down here this kind of like magic carpet ride. This little flyover for these paths so we can get to either side of these rides. These paths over this nice little river here. Another train station I built out a little bit with these buildings. And I'm not finished with this one yet. This one's a custom built that I was going to make into a little bit more of like a train station-esque building. So obviously this water is completely brand new. That was not there anywhere before. So I kind of made it come out of this mountain over here, flow through into this little lagoon, and then wrap around the gorge here into another new piece that I worked on. I added another train station stop, and then this log flume ride. I really would have liked to be able to set this down actually into the water, but for whatever reason the water level won't go higher, or the train track itself won't can't be placed into the water. Every time I tried to lower it, it was turned red and would let me place it. So it goes up, down into the splash zone as people can walk across over, and as the log comes down you can get splashed. Let's see if a log is coming anytime soon. No, not yet. Maybe we'll come back to that and let you see that. So yeah, the river flows over here into kind of this other little lagoon, and then I built this little waterfall looking piece over here. Following the train track out and around, I added another train stop, and I built this other coaster, which is kind of similar to the style of the one that is Magic Kingdom, the Great Thunder Mountain train ride. And that goes up through this large mountain piece, comes out the top, down through the mountain, out and around, up through here, back down, around, and comes in. So let's take a ride real quick. Actually, I take that back. Let's go see if the log flume is about to to launch yet or not. There's one coming. So let's zoom down to path level, and we'll be able to see the splash as the log flume comes down up over that hill and into the splash zone. It looks pretty interesting. I like the graphics of the water. I think they're pretty well done. They look nice. Here it comes. There we go. Alright. So, now let's go back and take a ride on this train. Actually, we may have to wait a minute because I'm not sure how long it'll take before it'll go. Let's see what the settings are set at. Minimum wait time 60 seconds, so it'll be another minute before I think it'll take off from the station. But this was a bit of a challenge because I didn't. The first couple times I set this track up, I got to a point where the track would stall, or the train would stall out on the track. It didn't quite have enough momentum to get it up over one specific hill, and it took me a while to overcome that and figure out what it needed to be changed in order to get that up over the hill. And as I was testing, these fear and nausea were super sky high. Obviously they're still in the orange, which is kind of like medium. They're not red, but I did a lot of smoothing on the track to try to help it not be as bumpy and not as extreme in the corners, to help reduce that nausea and fear, but it still gets up pretty high at certain points during the ride. And it still is overall pretty good, and people are still riding it. And it is a little extreme for some people. So we got a few more guests that are going to get on board before the train departs. And it should take off here in a second. Yep, there we go. So let's hop on board, and we will move back a couple seats. There we go. So it starts up to the chain lift through the mountain here. I thought it was a kind of nice atmosphere, and you don't see the train track from the outside, which is nice. And up and down the hill right off the bat to a nice right hand, turn back to the left, back into another little canyon tunnel, loop back to the left again. This actually goes overhead of the little town, is just underneath you there, back through and back to the station. So not a super long ride, but it looks to be pretty fun. They enjoyed it. So there's that train, obviously. And what I made is actually, you can't really see it. Actually, let me change the lighting back so during the day. The path to get to and from here actually connects through the mountain to the main entryway on the other side. So we loop as we come back around here. That is about it as far as changes I've made. But they're pretty substantial since the last time you guys have seen the park. What am I going to do next? So, my goal is to build out some more of kind of like the thrill, gentle rides along here on the outside. And I also want to add a little more buildings and shops over here to give them something to do. Not just this log flume. And I may build... I'm thinking about trying to figure out how to do a coaster up on top of all this gorge mountains here that loops up and around, and it would be a really big one. But I kind of like the aesthetic of just the mountains the way they are, so that is what I have planned. And that is all I have planned. So once I've finished that out, I'm calling this park done and moving on. So I got a quick time lapse for you guys of all of the work that I finished out that I was talking about. I went through and added some of these little gentle thrill ride slash family rides. Didn't do a whole lot to decorate around them. I just wanted to get them placed and set up and opened. So just was extending the path here, creating the queues, connecting them back up to the paths. I was trying to figure out some different types of rides to use and ultimate positions for them. Kind of wanted to fill up some of these empty spaces that were inside of between these log flume and the paths here, and ended up deciding for the Ferris wheel and connected the paths up to the flyover for the splash zone. Looked like to be a good place right over here. And then continued working on some more rides. I thought it would be a good placement instead of putting the buildings that I had talked about. And the queue kind of connects up over to this path on the side. I wanted to put some other rides in here. I toyed with putting in a roller coaster, but decided against it. I wanted to to not have so much open space and just take advantage of all of the real estate in this little general area. And again, wanted to connect up these paths so they all kind of combined to this walkway that was right here for the splash zone of the log flume. And I continued putting down some more gentle thrill rides along the side. I thought about doing kind of like concentric or dueling Ferris wheel type rides, but against it, just thought it was a little too big for the area. Kind of took away from the height of the log flume and just kind of stuck out kind of funny. So I just went back to the thrill rides, put these down along here. This ride was a little finicky about where it wanted to be placed. It didn't really want to line up, even though it looked like there was plenty of space to go. And opened that one up, created the queue for it, and realized it was getting kind of dark and couldn't really see what I was doing. So I ended up turning setting the time of day back to always light, so you could see a little bit better. It gets to be pretty dark in the evening and dusk hours. It makes it hard to see where you're putting some things down at. And I believe this ended up being my last ride that I placed, putting down the queue here and opening that one. And then I went in and trying to find the buildings that I wanted to use for this little town area, the shops and restaurants. And I originally was going to put them all the way down the row here, but didn't want to end up repeating buildings, and I didn't want to take the time to do a bunch of custom buildings, so I just used the prefabbed ones that are in the game. If you guys have any suggestions or games you would like to see me play, please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, I hope you would take a look at some of our other videos, and we have a couple other Let's Play series in the pipeline. So I appreciate you guys watching once again, and please like and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next video.